Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have a 2025 Mazda CX-90. We'll look at the interior, exterior, some of the updates for the 25 model, then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. All right, so now we're behind the wheel of the 25 CX-90, and this is a new trim level for 25. So this is the 3.3 Turbo Premium Sport. So they've added the Premium Sport with the few different engine options, and that's gonna give you a pretty good mix of equipment, yet keeping the price kind of at the middle price point when looking at the CX-90s. Now, with the addition of the Premium Sport, there's some pretty cool equipment found on this vehicle. Outside, this is going to get a little bit of that blacked out trim, whether it's the mirror caps or these amazing 21-inch wheels. It definitely gives this vehicle a very good appearance. When I was standing here filming earlier, someone walked by, he was kind of nodding his head and went, "Nice looking car." So that's a good sign for the CX-90. Now above and beyond that, additionally, they've added a few different options to put in the bench seat and some of the other trim levels. So if you're not looking for the captain's chairs, looking for the bench, that will now be more widely available. One other change for 25, the 12.3-inch display will now be standard on every model except for the base S trim level. So the S does find some different equipment on the inside, but for the most part, a lot of these vehicles are going to come with the 12.3-inch display. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I just wanted to cover some of the big updates for the 25 model year on the CX-90. So for now, let's put it in drive. We'll go for a spin around and touch on some of that stuff. So let's begin with what powers these Mazda CX-90s. Now there's going to be two different engine options when looking at this vehicle. There's a 3.3 turbocharged engine that's going to be found in the kind of S models, and then there's going to be a little bit more powerful 3.3 turbo. That one's going to be good for about 60 more horsepower. So the base one you're looking at about 280, that one goes up to about 340 horsepower. So it is a pretty big difference, and it does affect fuel economy just a little bit. This particular one you're looking at 28 mpg on the highway. That's through the 8-speed automatic transmission, and it is important to note that all Mazda SUVs come standard with all-wheel drive. So there's no front-wheel drive version of the CX-90 or the CX-70 or any other Mazda in the lineup. Now this powertrain also has a pretty cool 48-volt hybrid system. So there is a plug-in or a PHEV CX-90, but this isn't a plug-in. This is just a hybrid system that's going to help you regenerate and get the best possible fuel economy. If you're looking for even better mileage beyond that, like I said, the PHEV or plug-in will even get a better range and mileage. Now let's begin on the exterior. So this is the deep blue crystal mica. It looks amazing in the sun. It's kind of hard to tell on camera, but it's got this little bit of flake in it with the black accents. It does look stunning, and even the guy at the park tended to agree with me. It is a very sharp looking vehicle. If you don't like the blacked out package, the sport one you can opt against, and that would give you the silver wheels. There's a ton of different options and a handful of different trim levels to pick from. Now, a few other things on the exterior. This particular one also adds a power liftgate. So it does make it pretty easy to load up the kids, load up all the stuff in the back, and there's actually a pretty good amount of room. Now, it can get a little confusing between the CX-90 and the 70, but the biggest difference, the CX-90 does have third row capability, where the CX-90 would just be the second row. But in terms of storage, with the rear seats up, I think you can fit about 3 carry-on suitcases back there. If you fold that third row down, you can expand that to about 16 carry-on bags. And if you fold that all the way down in the second row, I think it goes up even a little bit more from there, and we'd give you even more space. So in terms of space in the back, there's a lot. There's definitely plenty of hauling capabilities when you're looking at the CX-90. There's even a little bit of storage underneath the floor if you need it, but making the seats fold down is pretty simple. You just pull the little handle, those kick down if you're not utilizing that third row. Now, if you got the little kiddos back there, you're hauling people around, this can be configured in either a 7 or 8 passenger, like I mentioned before. So this particular one gets the captain's chairs, pretty easy. You can fold them down, you can pull the little handle on the back, that will kick and slide that seat forward. So that way you can have the kids crawl in the back. There's a decent amount of room back there. All these third row SUVs pretty much kind of come in at the same amount of room. I'm 6'1", I wouldn't want to ride back there all day, but for a short trip it's more than enough space. But I did find myself having headroom, and there's also cup holders and USB-C charging in that third row, so that is going to keep the kiddos happy. Now in the second row, that's where things get a little bit nicer. So as you work your way up through the trim level, you can actually add things like heated seats back there. But even in this trim level, there's USB-C charging, there's a third zone climate control back there, so you do get the vents, whether that's for the kids or maybe for the dogs. But The driver's seat. This is where you're going to want to be because it is a fun vehicle to drive. That's one thing about these third row SUVs. They sometimes kind of lack that soul or performance or fun when you're behind the wheel. And if you're thinking 95% of the time it's just you in the car buzzing around, whether you're running to work, the gym, going to grab the kids, this is a fun vehicle and it's pretty sporty and comfortable on the road. Now, this particular one, like I said, does get the heated seats up here, and it's a really comfortable seat. So this is a power seat for the driver over here. There's the lumbar on my side. Like I said, you can crawl up the trim levels even higher, get the ventilated seats and the heated steering wheel. Those are some pretty awesome features. But when you're in here, you got the panoramic sunroof open. It's a morning like today. It's about 72 degrees, a little bit of breeze. I would definitely have all the windows down and the pano roof open, just enjoying the day and having fun behind the wheel. But there's things like wireless charging in here for my phone. So we've always got our phone with us. There's USB-C charging in here. There's also that wireless charging for one phone, and then wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on this 12.3-inch display. That's going to give you things like Google Maps, text messaging, Spotify. Makes it so easy when you're on the road to not be messing with your phone and be very safe. Now, the CX-90 is also a very safe vehicle. If you're going to have your whole family in here, obviously you want the Mazda looking out for you, maybe if you take your attention away from the road, but this is going to give you so much safety equipment, and this trim level adds even more safety to it. So the backup camera in here is pretty incredible. It is a crystal clear display. You can even go up and get the full 360 view camera if you want, but this base one is pretty good in this vehicle. Now, there's also going to be safety like blind spot monitoring, emergency braking. There's even like a pedal misuse alert. So if you accidentally hit the pedal when you don't think so, the Mazda can recognize that and stop the vehicle for you. Plus, you've got adaptive cruise control and lane departure warning. So I can set that here. It's going to kind of show me on the display. I can't really show you when I'm driving, but it's kind of monitoring the traffic. So there'll be little dots on the screen that would show where the vehicles are, but I can set that adaptive cruise control to 4, 3, 2, 1 distances. It will keep that distance, it will keep the lane, and I've got a heads-up display. So that heads-up display shows me all of that information on the windshield, so I'm not looking down, and I'm not messing with my phone when I'm on the go, and I love that. It just makes it so easy and safe when you're on the move. Now, beyond that, the ride and drive with this 8-speed automatic, and again, this is the smaller turbocharged engine. 280 horsepower, if you're not racing around, is more than enough. I think you can even get this thing from 0 to 60 in like 6 seconds, a little bit more with the bigger motor, but I don't know if you need it. I think I'd rather have the 28 mpg, just that little bit better fuel economy and take that power away in this vehicle, because again, it is more than enough to get you moving. But overall, I mean, the ride and drive, like I said, it's sporty, it's fun, it's very responsive. I love the brake pedal feel in here. It just all comes together as such a nice and easy to use thing day to day. And that's the thing, you want to just hop in the vehicle and not think about it. And that's something Mazda has always done so well. It's one of my most highly recommended vehicles. A lot of my friends and family are driving Mazdas because they just work. There's so much simplicity in here. They seem to be very reliable as well. And there's a lot to be said about the entire Mazda lineup. They've been making these vehicles for a long time. And I think if you're in the market, whether you're looking at Honda, Toyota, maybe Hyundai, I think the CX-90, you're gonna find a lot of luxury, comfort, style, and performance in this vehicle. And it's definitely one to add to the list to come out and take for a spin and see what you think. Now, that was just a quick look and drive at the 2025 Mazda CX-90. Now, if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by anytime. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.